I think you would be surprised to see that you can actually learn a lot more from meditating while you're sick. And since I currently have a really bad flu with pain everywhere, lack of sleep, and just pounding headache, I thought this would be a great moment to make a video about this. The first thing that becomes obvious if you're observing your pain while you're sick is that there's actually two parts to pain. And people, we never talk about it like this, or maybe we do in a way, but it's not something that's commonly referred to that much. And it's that pain has two parts. You have the actual physical pain, meaning that right now there's a pounding headache that makes everything a bit like, oh, it's kind of like this. It hurts. It's difficult to focus because of that headache. But then there's another pain, which is the, ooh, oh, I don't want this. No, no, this, no, it shouldn't be here. Take this away. There's an aversion or kind of a tension towards the pain that you have, where you're resisting what is right now. And having a flu like this is not, I mean, this is not life threatening. It's going to be over hopefully by the end of the week, or worst case, in another week. This is not something I have to worry about. And I can observe that. I can feel all these things. My headache, I think, comes mostly from lack of sleep, because I've been up. I wake up at 2, 3 a.m. every day, and I just I can't sleep because I have a fever and everything just hurts. There's pain in the joints. And before, if I would have done that, I remember that I had much more anxiety about it, or worry about it, or I would resist it. Now I can be relaxed feeling it, because I can just see that resistance towards it come up. And it's so easy to miss this, because we focus on the pain. The pain is not going to go away. And I think people get into meditation thinking that I'm not going to feel pain. Now, there are some kinds of meditation you can do where you actually focus so much on your object of meditation that you don't experience your senses. But that's like an altered state of consciousness, and it only lasts for as long as as you are focusing on that object. But as soon as you stop doing that, you're going to start coming back to your senses, and then that won't work anymore. So the physical pain is not something you can get away from permanently or long term. But your resistance towards that pain, that is something that you unconsciously, or maybe even being conscious about it, but not realizing that you have control over it. Most famously in the West is mindfulness. And what mindfulness does is that it makes you mindful of what you're experiencing. So you're supposed to experience and feel what you're feeling, and then be equanimous about it, meaning not resist it. So then you actually take away, or you try to take away, this resisting part that you have. And mindfulness can be a good way, but meditation in general, and the way I practice, and those of you who have been to my guided meditations, then we focus on the distortion that we have inside. So we focus on our breath to get calm, and then we see what happens in the body. And there is a distortion, a tension against things that are happening. It could be thoughts, and right now it's a headache. That's the main focus. But I don't have to have any tension towards it, because I can actually let go of it. And when you do, the pain doesn't go away, but it feels much less, because all of a sudden, all the negative self-talk, all the negative, this tension that actually made it worse. Because imagine there's a pain, and then you do, I don't want that pain. That's going to increase it and make it even worse. So by meditating while you're sick, it helps you to see what I call distortion or friction, or as I translated it from Buddhism, they call it dukkha, meaning suffering, because that is the part that is the suffering. It's not the physical pain. It's just going to be there. But the resistance you have towards the pain, that you can actually take away. I have a close friend who has hypochondria, and it's interesting to see that when she gets sick, for her it's doom and gloom whenever something happens. If she feels ill, then it's some rare blood disease that might kill you, or everything kind of spirals out of control. It goes into much more than it actually is. So it's quite easy to feel depressed or feel like you're down when you have pain. Especially, I think one of the worst pains you can experience is chronic pain. Feeling chronic pain from someone who has 3 herniated discs in my neck, and who recently had that happen again, but now it opened up towards the other side. The pain is insane, and it's not just that it's so intense, it's that it never ever stops. You try to have a conversation, it's like, I can't focus because there's so much pain, and you constantly bombarded by these sensations. Conversation can't do it. Think about something, can't do it. Watch a movie, can't do it. Listen to a conversation, can't do it. Go for a walk, I can't really do it, because it takes so much effort to just stay aware with the pain that it's difficult to focus on just walking, and that does wear you down. So when I had the first time I had this neck injury was when I was working as a dive guide in Palau, and they sent me to Manila in the Philippines, where I stayed for 3 months for physical therapy, and they actually wrote Valium and some antidepressants and all kinds of, like, not just pain tablets, but a lot of antidepressants and medicine that was supposed to help with my mental state as well. Because from what I understand, it's quite common that when you have pain like this, it's easy to spiral away and get very depressed. So by being aware of how this is happening, and especially the resistance towards the pain, then you can help yourself from falling into these deep levels of even hypochondria as it can get to, if you start thinking everything is a disease and everything is terrible, and when you have something is much worse than it actually is, because your mind is constantly running away. So focusing on what does the pain feel like? Okay, is this, and this is what is happening. It doesn't mean that you're magically gonna not have I mean, just because I'm now not having any resistance or very little resistance towards my headache, it doesn't mean that it goes away, but it feels less. It's more manageable, and I can enjoy myself even though I feel like shit. I can. This morning, oh my goodness, I felt so bad, and yet when my kids woke up, I could still spend a little time with them playing and just being like there as a father, and seeing them just brought me happiness. So I was able to be happy even though I felt really, really bad from just having a few hours of sleep. So it does help with negativity, and really the depressive part that can help with with being in physical pain. There's also a lot of talk about meditation being able to somehow magically heal a lot of illnesses. It was quite common at the meditation centers I stayed at when I was ordained as a as a Buddhist monk, that we'd have people who came with terminal illnesses of lots of different kinds, and they went there to get free from those illnesses, and some actually did in what seemed kind of like miracles. But I think I mean, there has been research done on this, and somehow people seem to sometimes get better by themselves. I'm not gonna try to say that I understand what happens there, because I don't, but I can tell something of what it feels like when you let go of the resistance towards something. So if you think about this distortion, this tension that I talked about, so I have the pain here, right? And if I would constantly be going around like this, oh, I don't want this. Oh no, this is terrible. This, I'm gonna have pain like this the rest of my life, and I'm gonna get migraines. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to talk to my children. I'm not gonna be able to stay at work because I'm gonna have so much pain all the time. So I'm gonna be unemployed, and then oh my God, I'm gonna lose my family, and my wife is gonna leave me, and my kids are gonna not be able to stay with me. I'm gonna have to move out on the street because I can't function in society anymore. And then you kind of spiraled away with all of this. And now my my fever shock, because I forgot what I was talking about. What was my point? Yes, I remembered. Okay, so it was how meditation helps with healing you. Sorry, like I said, I'm not feeling so well, so I kind of trail off and forget what I was talking about. So I've almost lost it again. Why it helps? Because when you have all these thoughts, and not just the thoughts are not the problem is the resistance towards what is, right? So if you would go like that and you have all this tension in your body, you can really feel this. I mean, when you really, if you have a strong anxiety or a strong worry, you can feel how your whole body is just like this. How do you think the blood flow works? How do you think your breathing works? And oxygen is vital for helping the body rejuvenate and just function, and all the lymph systems. And is it called lymph? I'm not sure what it's called. The system that pumps around and cleans and stuff. If that doesn't make any sense, just forget what I said. My point is, if you walk around with a lot of tension, which is what this resistance is experienced as, physical tension, then the body is very likely not going to be helped by that when it's trying to heal. Whereas if you can just be really relaxed and be in a good mood and feel positive and just enjoy being, do you think that would help your body to heal, or do you think that would make it worse for it to heal? So I don't think it's necessary to go looking for all these scientific explanations of why it's so wonderful and amazing, or go into like the metaphysics and say that you're accessing spiritual guides or other entities. It's just very simple. If you feel good, if you are relaxed, the body just functions more easily. And for anyone who experience what I call non-centric experiences or non-dual experiences, one of the things many people describe is that it feels quiet. It's so peaceful, and there's no tension. It's like all of a sudden it's just so easy to breathe. And this is like, that would be a continuation of making that even further, meaning not just releasing the resistance, but like releasing it to the point where there's just no resistance in the body almost, and then the sense of self disappears. So by releasing the tension towards your disease or your trouble, whatever it may be, the body just has a much easier time functioning the way it's supposed to. So for me, it's not magical at all that people get better or it helps them with migraines and stuff. Actually, migraines is that's a separate topic, actually. Migraines, there are certain parts in your, I'll just cover this quickly. There are certain parts while you meditate where you get a lot of pressure that comes up. I had migraines that came during meditation. They were just blinding, like flashes of light. And it was just so painful. I thought my head was going to explode. And it seems like some of the people who go to these intensive retreat, they actually get away from their migraines and get cured. But it seems like that was, in my opinion, very likely some kind of trapped this. I don't really want to use the term energy, but it's the thing that most people use to describe this. But this motion of friction inside of us, of tension inside of us, when that gets stuck, then you can have these pain points. That's why also phantom pains for some people, when they meditate, it heals, and they say, oh, it's magic. It's the power of the Buddha, power of Christ, or whatever meditation they were doing. It just seems to be a natural part when you go through these, these cycles that you go through while you're meditating. So you could get through that. And what I was saying before was that the reason why I believe meditation helps is simply because you become more relaxed. You don't have all this tension, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out that, yeah, the body is very likely going to be functioning better if you're not like this, but actually relaxed, enjoying, and just not resisting. And basically it's you saying, okay, I'm just going to step out of the way and let my body heal itself. That's basically what you're doing, instead of being there like, and if you have hypochondria, then you're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to die from this because this flu is not a flu. It's a super mega ultra version of that thing that happened 2020 that no one, I don't think you're allowed to even say the word on YouTube. That's how bad it is. So why meditation helps heal you, for me, is not something magical. It's simply the lack of tension in your body. Meditating while you're sick is not going to be pleasurable. It's not going to give you that nice feeling. Well, it might, because you might come through and have a blissful experience. You can definitely have that. But that's not why it's useful. In fact, I think meditating while you're sick can be some of the most useful thing you can do, the most beneficial meditation you can do. Because a good meditation is not one that is pleasurable. It's one where you overcome things, or you go forward in your practice, whatever that may be. And for me, that is this tension, this distortion, this friction. When you let go of that, then you're moving forward. And when you're sick, you very likely have some of that. And it makes it easier to look at, because it's not something that's constantly there that you might not be aware of. Now you can really see, okay, if I close my eyes now, I can feel there's pain here, it goes down here and back into my neck. There's a lot of tension there, and I'm sweaty and I'm smelly, and I feel really yucky and tired, and I have like difficulties with my vision, because I think I slept 2 or 3 hours tonight, so I'm like blinking a lot. And I can look at all those things, and I can see that the physical part is there. I mean, I can't deny that that is happening, but I can also be okay with it being there and realize, okay, I have this. So what do I need to do? Well, I just need to be calm and just take it easy. Today, I've just had a really relaxed day, not doing anything at all. And I just felt like, oh, I want to record a video. It's not something that requires a lot of effort. It's not physically straining. It's just me sitting down and having a conversation until my voice starts getting sore. So I can't do it anymore. So meditating while you're sick can be really beneficial. What I recommend you to do is focus on this distortion, this aversion or friction you have towards whatever illness you may have. And I also want to really point out that if you need help, seek medical help. Don't think that you're just gonna go out and heal yourself from cancer, like all these really serious illnesses, without asking for help. I mean, it's just one of those things that people in the spiritual circles tend to do. Like, I'm just going to go and heal myself, and I stop taking all my antidepressants, stop taking all my medicine, and just going to believe in the universe. No, I don't think that's unnecessary. Do whatever your doctor says or whatever you believe is the best thing to do there, but then just relax with it. You can do both. It's not either or. I've had so much help. My father had heart problems, and if he didn't get medical attention, he would have died 25 years earlier than he did. So I mean, that's an amazing thing, and I'm very grateful for that time that he got, thanks to the medical attention. If he would have just sat there and like, oh, I think my body's going to heal itself, I'm going to be relaxed, he would have died much earlier than he did. So don't be afraid to meditate while you're sick, and be sure to enjoy it. And if you want to learn more about how to do some very simple meditations where you can experience what's happening inside of you, we do have guided meditations on Mondays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central European time. Then you can ask questions afterwards.